Paul Heyman was not around in 1987, but that is the birth of Survivor Series, the second of the WWF pay-per-views, and the payback where the Boss got his win back over Hulk Hogan in the very first main event of 1987. Terry, let's talk about Survivor Series that you and Allison tried to introduce 3 minutes ago.
Not just Survivor Series, but 1987 to 1990. You want to know why? Because I was looking at all the teams, and after 5 years of documenting all the teams, I was pretty damn tired, and I said, "Screw this! I'm not going any further."
But they also had real team. I mean, this was, if I'm not
fun.
mistaken, 87 through 90, there were no singles matches, I don't think.
No, I think there were some scattered in there. It seemed like there was one year where they really pulled back the number of these Survivor Series style matches, and then I guess they got feedback that said, "Why the hell did you do that?" So they boosted it up again. But there were some other matches in there, but it was like 5 out of 6 matches were this style.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
was going to say the first one I remember ever having the singles match was when Taker beat Hogan.
91.
Yeah, I think that was the first year they had a singles match.
Yeah.
We'll have to
And he broke Terry's neck, not Terry Weaver, Terry Bollea. Terry told everybody he broke his neck.
Yeah.
Undertaker's unsafe.
Somehow
watch the video,
a foot off the floor.
Yeah, watch the video back. He's over a foot away from that stupid steel chair. Good Lord. Hogan's such a bitch. Terry, who's number 10?
Yeah. Number 10 in the Survivor Series teams from 1987 to 1990 is the Dream Team from 1990. Woo! Dusty Rhodes in the Polka Dots, the Hart Foundation, and Coco Beware. Sorry, Mike, he made the list.
But yeah, that was my criteria. If you had Coco Beware or Brutus Beefcake on your team, I didn't vote for you. Not a chance.
They would have made a mean tag team.
See, that's some shit I would come up with for criteria like that. For instance, if CM Punk's in the match, I'm not watching it. That's just the way it is, you know?
See, and for me, this one was all about Dusty, so I love this one.
So this is the debut of The Undertaker, which we may get to, but it's 1990. He basically runs through the Dream Team. Of course, Ted DiBiase brings the Taker in. We get Bruce Pritchard, his brother Love, the first manager, before we bring in Percy, who becomes Paul Bearer. Also, to note, Dusty wore red in this match. He did not wear the yellow polka dots. And this is one of his last pay-per-views. He'll be leaving the company in 91, where he became the booker to WCW again.
And Taker was announced as Kane the Undertaker.
Kane the Undertaker.
And then they deleted it out.
Yeah, they did it one time. One time he was Kane the Undertaker. Yep. Number 9, Terry.
Number 9, Team Twin Towers from 1988.
Look at this. Look at this team. Now, outside of Terry Taylor,
you got barely see the Red Rooster way in the back.
Red Rooster. You got Haku, the legit badass. You got the $1 Million Man in the green. That was always a cool outfit when he wore the green.
Absolutely.
And then you got Boss Man and Akeem, formerly the One Man Gang, Big George. Fantastic.
I will say, not just Macho Man, $1 Million Man in the green, but Virgil in the white and pink.
Oh, yeah,
so that was, to me, the perfect combination. Of that.
Well,
I love Slick. Slick
the
the
managers almost outnumbered the teammates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a crowd.
Well, and the thing is with DiBiase, this is when the early years of Hasbro. They made a green DiBiase action figure, but he also had the traditional black action figure in the black clothing. This was like a special edition. People went crazy for that. Of course, you got Mean Gene after he's had some vodka sitting there in the middle. But one thing about this, though, the Twin Towers, legitimately, Akeem and Boss Man, who had wrestled each other for the UWF title before they came to WWF in 87, I believe it was. That was a legit tag team that often gets overlooked,
right?
Because of the way they broke up or whatever. And then Boss Man went on the keto diet, and became a third of the man he used to be. But this is a great tag team. Of course, they're going to square off against I would imagine we're going to see them, the Mega Powers here shortly. So, Terry, number 8.
Number 8 is Rude
Oh,
Brood
yeah.
from 1989.
Who the fuck voted for them? Look, the Rougeau brothers, get out of here.
Right.
Oh, it was you,
Rougeau
wasn't it?
brothers, Rick Rude, and Mr. Perfect.
I mean, y'all need to know I was a Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect fan, so
The Rougeau brother, like he was better as
Texas
the
Killer.
Mountie. I love when he did the Jailbird match at SummerSlam '91, and he ends up screaming and hollering in the New York City jail. Boss man. Bad team. Who's number 7?
Terry, was that the one that you took the picture?
No. It's way worse than this. Way worse.
Go on,
It's
Bober.
in-ring.
wait, let's go.
There's an in-ring picture coming, and you can barely tell what's going on. But anyway, number 7, the Heenan Family.
There
Here
it
it
is.
is.
This is it.
I took this with my phone. There's Arn
1989.
Anderson getting ready, and then you see Bobby back there. He hasn't taken his jacket off yet, and then you got Andre and Haku.
So this is a good pick. This is one of my favorites. So when I was a kid, we rented this movie, or this pay-per-view, and I used to call Tully Blanchard Jolly Rancher, and I told him that on a Zoom call because I was like 3. Tully had been fired prior to this event, which is why Bobby is in the event, and Arn is on his way back to WCW, and then you'll see Haku, and Andre become the Colossal Connection. They actually wrestle Demolition at 6 instead of the Brainbusters. It should have been the Brainbusters at WrestleMania 6, not the Colossal Connection. Haku and Andre win the titles from Demolition in December. I believe it was the 12th. But anyway, all that being said, it was a cocaine test, failed 3 weeks prior to this event. They gave them a 90-day notice that they were leaving because Vince didn't give them the money. So they put Bobby Heenan in here, and of course they're against the Warriors team, which, means Warrior wins.
Number 6, Team Mega Powers from 1988.
So this team sucks. Bober, go ahead. You got Coco Beware there.
Excuse me, look at little Miss Elizabeth in there. All
What are
right,
our thoughts
come
on Hillbilly Jim?
See, this is the thing about Survivor Series is there's like an anchor of the team, and then there's the bullshit around it. You got Coco Beware, Hillbilly Jim, and Hercules. Get the fuck out. And then you got the Mega Powers. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's like silliness to the nth degree because who's got to take, but they got to take pins because these guys are the ones taking on the Twin Towers. This is the team that takes on the Twin Towers.
And that makes sense.
They've got to have people in the ring to take pins because Hogan ain't bumping, brother. And, they can't have the setup to continue the Mega Power story and the jealousy if you don't have Savage and Hogan together at the end of the match.
So, Terry, you asked about Hillbilly Jim. I always liked him. I thought he was, for a large man, he just didn't move fast enough. So it was very slow, and it was always the same move over and over again, I felt like. But
to me, I think he would fit today better than back then. They just made him a hillbilly. I think they could do something with him today.
I think
equal
you're right.
to what they do with some big guys today.
And he gives longer speeches than I give synopsis of these teams. If you all saw his Hall of Fame speech, he's still talking. And thanking his mama.
Well,
Number 5,
slow.
Terry. We're gonna crack the top 5. Who do we got?
Number 5, Team Savage from 1987, and this picture was thrown together from multiple pictures.
I was going to say,
you
how
can tell.
many of these people are photoshopped in this picture?
Right. I don't know who did this, but thank you, whoever you are.
Now this one, go ahead, Bober. What do you think?
I was going to say, I think I did make the exception to my rule on this one, just because it's Savage, Steamboat, and Jake.
Arguably the number 2, 3, and 4 baby faces in the business. And you could even say 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because the only one missing is Hulk.
Right.
But Savage is clearly the number 2 baby face. Steamboat. Jake sold a lot of merch. A lot of merch.
And
he never had the title or anything, but he sold a shitload of merchandise. And whether we like Hogan's weed carrier or not, Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake was over until the boating accident, until the parasailing accident. He was over.
He had a gimmick. I mean, he cut people's hair after he beat them.
Cutting and strutting, baby.
That's right.
All right. Number 4, Team Andre from 1987. That's Andre,
Hell
One
yeah.
Man Gang, Butch Reed, King Kong Bundy, and Rick Rude.
What a crew.
Yeah.
What a crew.
And at first glance, I'm like, is that Dusty? Well, it was King Kong
I
Bundy
did the
with
same
his shirt.
thing. I was like, what?
Andre wins this. This is his thank you from Hogan. They get Hogan out of the match. He hits Bam Bam with a half-ass slam of some kind. But when the boss does it, it's done. It's over with. So that's a pretty formidable team, though, if you're looking heels. I mean,
Yeah.
because this is obviously Akeem,
Mm.
but in this case, One Man Gang. Incredible athlete for somebody 6'8" and 440. You move.
And then you have King Kong Bundy.
No,
Devin
not
wants
until
to know-
1993.
That's answering Devin's question of had Rick Rude been WCW NWA champ by this point.
My bad. I forget there are people that only listen to this. That would be
It's okay.
1993. He defeated Ric Flair at Fall Brawl with the use of brass knuckles.
See, I do some producer work.
You do. Good job. Number
And it was
3,
the international world title. It was bullshit. He should have been given the good big gold, but it's okay. Well, I'll stop.
Heenan Family
Oh.
from 1988. That's Andre, Harley Race, Mr. Perfect, Dino Bravo, and Rick Rude.
Nothing to not like there.
All I see is a bunch of Hall of Famers and Dino Bravo.
Yeah, Dino Bravo actually very over in Canada if you ever saw Dark Side of the Ring. But that's the only place he was
The only
ever
place.
over, you know? And one thing I don't know, because I don't have the timetable, is why Earthquake's not in here. It might be the right before he debuted.
Earthquake was never with Heenan. He was with Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, but he was with Bravo all the time. Earthquake and Bravo were an item.
Devin says Bober looks like Dino.
But anyway.
Hey, Kevin, how's your 49ers doing?
Oh, here we go. Number 2.
Number 2, Warriors.
Yeah.
I
This
can't
is-
believe this team didn't win.
Well, you'll understand when we see the top one. But we got the LOD, Road Warriors, the Ultimate Warrior, and the Texas Tornado, the Modern Day Warrior.
So this promo picture, just for information's sake, was taken prior to the event, obviously. Your LOD are the tag team champions. They defeated the Nasty Boys at SummerSlam that year. Kerry Von Erich, depending on when the photo was taken, was the Intercontinental title holder because he'd beaten Mr. Perfect. So I don't know how
Oh,
this
my
team
goodness.
isn't number 1.
7 feet of doom. Good Lord.
So who's number 1?
Number 1, Hulkamaniacs. And this is the right one because this is Hogan, Jake, and Demolition. And this is a badass team.
Badass.
Speaking of, Demolition was the tag champs. Hogan's the world champ. Jake doesn't need a title belt. He'd just come off of injury. Jake the Snake Roberts claimed on a recent podcast I wrote the notes for that they tried to get an anaconda for this match, and the anaconda was so big and so feisty that they couldn't carry it to the ring, and it was shitting everywhere and all this other stuff in the locker room. As much as I like Jake, he is full of shit because you did not get an anaconda for this.
Have you not seen the movie? Come on.
Yeah.
No
No.
fucking way.
No.
But yeah, this to Terry's point though, badass team, Demolition, your 3-time tag team champions.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Hulk had had the belt 3 times at this point. Really, really, really good wrestling team.
And no,
So,
Devin,
Funny story
Hulk
about
not
this.
very
Yeah, I
good.
don't know about Hulk's thermos. It wasn't a python. It was a thermos there, Devin. Funny story about this, though. According to Jake and to Bruce, they wanted to carry a big-ass snake to the ring with the 4 of them, and the snake was too heavy. I still don't believe it was an anaconda.
Who would sign off on that? Just no.
Good shit, pal.
My
Exactly.
final thought.
Yes.
Don't want none unless you got buns, hon. Let's run it down. Number 10, Dream Team from 1990. Number 9, Team Twin Towers from 1988. Number 8, Rude Brood from 1989. Number 7, Heenan Family from 1989. That's a name that's used multiple times. Number 6, Team Mega Powers from 1988. Number 5, Team Savage from 1987. Number 4, Team Andre from 1987. Number 3, Heenan Family from 1988. Number 2, Warriors from 1990. And number 1, Hulkamaniacs from 1989.